Welcome everyone to our third installment of Surround Foster Care Conversations. Today I get to interview Danielle Pfister. I'm so excited for you guys to get to meet her and get to know her better. She is going to tell a little bit of her story and how she's connected to the foster care community. So welcome, Danielle. Thanks for being with us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do in your day job, and then how you're connected to foster care.
Sounds good. I am a special education teacher. I teach kindergarten through second grade right now, kiddos with some pretty severe disabilities in a life skills setting. I am connected to the foster care community because I am a foster parent. I just got my first placement. It'll be a month tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah.
That's exciting.
It is. It does not feel like it's been a month.
Yeah, I bet not. Yeah, well, you have a lot going on because you're a teacher, you said, so, and the school year and new places, that's a ton.
Yeah.
So sometimes people ask me, like, how do you know you're ready to become a foster parent? And this is kind of newer to you. I mean, The process takes a while. So I wanted to hear from your perspective, what life experiences or situations helped you decide that becoming licensed was going to be a good step for you?
All right, and I apologize in advance. My dog is down here, and he thinks that like the basement is his play area. So if you hear the squeaking toys, I'm sorry. I have wanted to be a mom for my entire life. I just feel like very sure that I really have two purposes here, and one is to be a teacher, to teach special ed, and the other is to be a mom. And, I've got the teacher part down. We're doing that. We've been doing that for quite a while. And I just was looking for a way to transition into this mom role that was a little bit kind of different than your traditional path of getting married and having kids, just because that hasn't happened yet. I've wanted to foster for a long time. I've had a few students in and out of foster care. As a teacher, I've taught pretty much from kindergarten all the way to seniors in high school. So you see a lot of different walks of life in that age span. And I've seen my youngest students as foster children, and I've seen some of my older high schoolers as foster children, and just seeing that there's a huge need for parents to step into that role. And I want to be a mom. I have a whole lot of love to give to a child. And I was kind of like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's stop waiting. I selfishly thought that I would foster after I had my own children because, there's this whole idea of returning them home. And I thought that would be, easier if I had my own babies that nobody was going to take away from me. But as we've grown and pursued the path, it was kind of just the door opened and I stepped in.
That's awesome. I currently am working as the foster parent recruiter at Family Core, which because you came in through me, which is really kind of fun. And then you're also part of our church at Imago. And but you being one of my first people that I talked with, it seems like there's this trend actually of single mamas stepping up. A lot of times people aren't, they're actually not mamas yet. They're just single women who are I'm going to jump in and this is going to be how I do parenting to start with. And I think it's really, really cool. And something people don't often think about, that this is an option. This is something you can actually do, and you're doing it. So that's really, really neat. So what was the process like for you in getting licensed, and what are some of the requirements you had to complete in order to do it?
The process wasn't bad. It was a little long. I complained a little bit about it just because, they give you this checklist of here are all the requirements that you need to do. And I'm a very detail-oriented person. If you give me a list, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it promptly and quickly. So the biggest thing for me was waiting for that background check to clear. That took right around 5 months for the state to process it. So that was really the only frustration was I'm here. I've done everything. Type my name into the computer and let's go. But aside from the background check, you do your classes, and then you have some online supplemental trainings. And then, of course, the home study where they ask you a lot of questions and just try to learn more about you to make sure that you're a good fit. and make sure that your home is up to code with all of the licensing standards.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that from you the moment I met you, that you were going to like get that checklist done. So it was like painstaking for me to watch how long it was taking the state to process for whatever reason. And you're obviously have a cleared background check because you are a teacher. So
that was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. It's interesting because it almost just prepares you for what it's going to be like, because foster care is always messy, you know, and we can't kind of learn along the way.
Goes the way you plan.
Exactly. There's no control. So it's like jump right into the lack of control. So now that you were getting prepared and kind of waiting on things, and then you get placed, like who have you relied on for support during the journey? Who have you looked to be there for you, like family or friends? Or
so it's been a lot of people from a lot of different places, and a lot of people have like kind of come out of the woodwork that I have not like really been connected to either very deeply or in a long time, which has been really cool to see, like kind of how it brings people into your life without you really expecting it to. My parents have definitely been my two biggest pillars of support, just because, you know, they're amazing, and I feel a little bit bad because I jumped into this journey knowing what the whole process was going to be like, and I kind of just like dragged them along. You know, they're guilty by association, I guess, but they've been amazing. You know, they love my little guy so much, and they're so good with him. Another really big support system has been the people from Imago, which has just been really cool to see, because, you know, like I haven't been going to Imago for a significantly long time, but people have just stepped up and joined this village to help kind of support me and the little guy. So that's been really cool to watch. And we are so thankful for everyone. I think all of my thank you cards should be mailed out, and you should have received them by now. But if you haven't, they're on their way.
I love that. You're making it all happen. I've been really touched to see that the way that our community, even during a weird time where like they're not even getting to see you or like meet him, you know, they're still just like, oh, somebody in the church is doing this. And it's exactly what I hoped for when we launched this ministry, is that we would welcome these babies, or if you had an older placement, we would welcome just the way we always welcome new kids to our community. So way to go, Imago. It's been really cool. I'm glad that's been helpful to you. So you kind of talked about your parents, and you kind of dragged them in, and it's interesting, I think, to see how families react, but it sounds like you've had a pretty good experience.
They've been supportive, definitely. I think that they're a little terrified. I mean, I don't really know anybody who's involved with the foster care world that isn't a little bit terrified, though, just because you never know what's going to happen. You know, you jump into this journey and you love on this kid, and you know, you give them your whole heart, and you know that there's a very good chance that they're going to leave you.
Yeah, it's really hard. And part of you, of course, wants that to happen if it's safe.
Right.
Moms and dads deserve to be with their kids, and if there are barriers they can work through, then this other part of you, it's like having two full hearts. It's like your heart is split. It's like two full hearts.
It is 100%.
Yeah. So I've kind of noticed that there are a lot of different misconceptions and even like weird, unexpected questions that can happen along the way as you start fostering. I'm wondering if you've run into any of those things, maybe that you weren't expecting.
You know, there's so many, I don't really know which one to choose. There's, of course, this whole idea that you're going to get too attached, which I think is a really big one, which is true. I mean, you do get really attached, but then on the flip side, like that's exactly what these kids need. You know, you're giving them the skills to really be able to form relationships throughout their entire life by giving them that level of attachment. And yes, it's going to hurt whenever they leave. And I think that's another one. Just this idea that like you signed up for this and you know that there's a good chance that they're going to go home, so it's not going to hurt, right? Wrong. Like, I'm still human. I still have big emotions. I think the difference is that I have the skills to cope and the supports necessary to cope, and these kids don't have that, and they deserve to have that. So at what point does my comfort, is that more important than their success and their future? And it's not. So
yeah. Oh, I love that. Yes, preach. That's exactly. I mean, that's how attachment works, right? Like exactly how you said, you're teaching them that they can trust and be connected, and that will continue to carry, even though they'll have, if he returns, then he will have built that with you, and he'll be able to do that in the future. And we're adults, and we have resilience built in more now. We have coping skills, we have support systems, we know how to reach out when we need it. So it's kind of our job to step in and do the hard work. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so what do you love most about your new role as a mama?
Everything. I don't think I can pick one thing. I just genuinely love being a mom, and I won't say that it's easy because you are responsible for the health and well-being of this tiny human who is so dependent on you in the midst of a pandemic, and there's a lot to that. So it's not that it's easy, but I love it. There's not a part of it that I would change right now.
That's amazing. Yeah, and that is an interesting aspect. It's there's not that many people who are taking new placements right now in the middle of a pandemic, and this is your first experience with it. So everything is altered all the way. We're doing visits with families, all of that, and you're just rolling with it, and I just love that. Yeah, it's good. Being a mom, like you said, it's not it's easy, but I can see that you're so fulfilled in that, and I just love that.
It's been amazing.
So what do you think is one of the challenges that you have faced in the journey?
So there's, the obvious complete lack of control that I have in the entire situation. That is hard, but that was expected. I expected that to be difficult and challenging, and I feel like I braced myself for that. Mm-hmm. I did not expect it to be so hard to say no to placements. Mm-hmm. And where I live, I am in a 2-bedroom, so I'm really limited on kind of the capacity of kids that I can take in. And with the licensing standards and having to be within a certain age and the same gender, all of that, which is there to, make sure that situations are safe for our kids. And I get it, but it is hard to get these emails and these calls about these kids that are in need and not be able to just take them all in.
Yeah. I think people struggle with that at different levels. I think I can tell from just my interactions I've had with you, you have such a compassionate heart. And so I think that is a hard thing. But you've done it, you've been able to do it and known.
It has been hard.
I bet so. And it's interesting, I'm kind of on both sides because I've been a foster parent before, but I've also now seen behind the scenes, and it's I used to wonder, why are they calling me? They know this is not my age range. I didn't know.
Why did you do this to me?
Yeah, but they're so desperate because there's only so many open homes at a time, and it takes so long for people to get licensed. So even people I'm helping recruit today, hopefully it's not 9 months like it was for you or whatever. But
oh my gosh, I hope so.
But it still takes several months to get through all the classes and to do enough home visits, and so we're pretty dependent on people who have big hearts and are willing. And so sometimes we ask them if they can stretch, and I always give the advice to people how do you know what your capacity is or what types of kids you can handle? And it's do a lot of prayer.
Yes, a lot of prayer.
Yeah, think through what your real capacity is, and then try to leave a little bit of room for God to step in and make up those with the grace.
Definitely.
Because we can all be pushed past what we think we can handle just a little bit. So what would you tell someone who is considering getting involved in the foster care community in some way?
Do it. But also really think about it and pray about it and make sure that this is right for you, because it's not right for everybody. Being a foster parent isn't right for everybody, and that's okay. I can respect that, but there are other ways to get involved and help out. So just try to find what way fits for you and your family, and step into it. There's a huge need, and I really do think that everybody can help out in some capacity.
Absolutely. And it sounds like even your interactions with your students who you'd seen in foster care, you know, that's one little part of your story of getting to the place of saying yes for this. So that's what I
Right.
always encourage people, like put yourself in proximity with others who are involved, or even like Imago has done, rally around those who are doing it, show them support. I think I saw on one of the things you posted that somebody offered even like, I'd love to babysit sometime when this is all over.
Like, please.
I bet. Yeah, that'd be amazing. So, especially because you have a baby, people love babies. So,
Right, they do.
well, is there anything else that you want to share today, or anything else you want to say?
No, it's been a great journey. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of big emotions, but you just kind of hop on and hold on for the ride and just know that ultimately it's all in God's hands and it will all work out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I tell myself too. Yeah, in so many areas. So, well, Danielle,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing a little of your journey. I'm excited for Imago just to get to know you a little more and put a story and a face behind you know, what they know about just your statistics of what's going on. So, anyway, grateful for you and for you jumping in and saying yes in the middle of all this, and hug on that baby since I haven't gotten to meet him yet. So
I know, he's adorable. You'll love him.
yeah. Okay. Well, we will talk sometime soon, I'm sure. So thank you so much.
Good. Thank you.
Bye.